So let's get comfortable, sitting any way that works for you, including on a chair. And because we are doing some challenging poses today, if you want to have a chair close by to be able to give you a few more options for practice, totally great. As always, please do anything that you need to do to make the practice work for you. I'm going to offer up poses and words today to work with, but make this your own practice. Change anything, modify anything, skip anything, pass on things, anything that you need to do to truly make this work. So let's find our sitting bones. Those are your anchor. So we've got a little bit of grounding happening right away. Sit bones, connecting you to the ground. And then start to pay attention to your posture, your core on top of your sit bones, your ribs on top of your core, then shoulders, neck, and head floating. It's just a little awareness of posture as you close your eyes and start to breathe easily. Really bring your awareness to just the present moment. Where you are in your home, most likely. See if you can put aside some of the things that already happened in your day and just be here now. As you take a couple of easy breaths. And see if you can notice, where do you most feel the breath in the body today? And wherever that is, let's now take 5 mindful breaths. Staying present, staying with the place that you most feel the breath in the body. Keep your focus there. Let's do one more mindful breath. And transition to placing your one thumb into your other hand. And inhale as you raise your arms up. And drop your shoulders down. Breathing out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Hands together. 2 breaths. Hands up and then behind the neck or in front of the neck, if that works better for your body. Full extension as you breathe in. And And slow hands to heart as you breathe out. And a breath at the heart. Let's warm up our necks as we always do. So you can always do these poses sitting or standing. If you're standing, you're just going to let your arms dangle beside you. If you're sitting, you might rest the back of your wrists on your knees or have your hands flat on the mat beside you. Let's lift an ear. Now there's no effort here. We're just letting the head hang for 2 big breaths. Noticing how the neck is on this side. As you're ready, over to the other side for another 2 breaths. Again, letting the head hang and comparing. How is this side to the first side? Just follow the pace of your own breathing. And as you're ready, we'll do each side again. To the final side when you're ready. Come to center when you're ready and look over at the side wall for 2 big breaths. Back of the neck nice and long. And again, as you're ready, over to the other side. 2 more breaths. Then back to center and drop your chin towards your chest for 3 breaths. And see if you can use the diaphragm. So you're really getting down into the belly for breathing. Then walk the eyes slowly across the floor and up the opposite wall, across the ceiling until your eyes are as far as they wish to take you. Keep your neck comfortable, open your mouth and breathe. Walk those eyes back until the chin is again on the chest or close to it. For 2 more big breaths using your diaphragm. And let the head float back to center. If you're sitting, you can rest an arm across your lap and bring the other arm up to your ear. If you're standing, you might use the down arm to be braced against your hip for a little extra support there. Let's breathe in and get taller. So you're getting longer through your whole rib cage, through your armpit, all the way up to the tips of your fingers. And then maybe taking it into a side bend. It's just finding what feels right for your body today. Breathing, of course. And coming back and changing over. Other arm to ear, breathe in as you start to stretch up first. Noticing this side, how is it the same or different from first side? And then as you're ready, maybe a little more over. Again, just finding what's best for you. Excellent. Bring that back. We'll get into a little twist with one arm out in front of the body, and the hand is reaching, the whole arm is reaching forward, but you want to keep your shoulder down. Other arm stretches out to the side of you, and same thing. The hands, the fingers are reaching, but the shoulder needs to stay down away from the ears. So make that true. Both hands reaching, both shoulders coming down. Look past your side fingers and take a 1-inch twist towards the back. Just a tiny twist to get into the spine gently here. A couple of breaths. And let's change sides. Other hand comes forward, other hand sideways. Drop those shoulders down again. Look past your side fingers. Tiny twist towards the back and 2 big breaths. Lovely, into eagle pose now, either sitting or standing. One arm comes across the body. The other arm wraps way around the bottom of the tricep. Got the fingers of one hand touching the palm of the other hand, and both your thumbs are pointed at your nose. And if this is not possible for you, you're just holding up the top arm using the bottom arm and giving it a pull across so that you start to feel that gentle opening across the back of the shoulder. Let's pull the elbows a little bit away from the body and breathe. Let's lift the elbows to shoulder height and breathe again. And pull the shoulders and elbows back down for one more breath. Let go of that side. Give everything a little gentle shake. And take the other arm, switch it. The other arm is underneath. And again, pull those elbows away for a breath. Lift elbows to shoulder height, all while keeping your shoulders low. Bring the elbows back down. Let go of your eagle. Bring your hands behind you. Interlace your fingers behind you. Pull your wrists apart from each other. Turn so you can see. And lift the arms up and away from the body. Nice opening for the front of the chest here. Wide from shoulder to shoulder. And let's breathe. Release that into a big hug for yourself. And breathe into your low back as you move gently. Lots of big breaths. And take the other arm on top. Same thing, a little warm up for the low back. Beautiful. So we're going to come on to our wrist opening pose. So sometimes we do that from hands and knees, if you can take a little bit more for your wrist opening, or if you know you want more control of that, less intensity, you might do it from your seated position. So you're choosing, and of course grab water anytime through the class. So if you're choosing the seated version, you're going to take one hand or one palm and place it against your fingers to open up your wrists. If you're choosing the kneeling version, you're going to curl your toes and sit back a little bit. So there's a little pressure to open the toes up, to give them the joints a little bit of opening here. And then place the hands in front of you with your fingers pointed at your knees. Now you can adjust this pose to suit you. So the more you sit back onto your heels, the more you will feel through the front of the wrists. So you decide how much you'd like to have there for intensity, and take some breaths. Good, I'm going to flip those hands over onto the back of the hands with the fingers still pointed towards your knees. Or if you're doing the seated version, now you're just pressing one palm onto the back of the hand so that we're stretching the back of the forearm. Again, you adjust the intensity, not too much weight on your wrist this way. You're not meant to take a lot of weight. Just a gentle stretch for the forearms. And give that a good shake for the wrists and arms. So we're taking inspiration from 10 poses for self-empowerment today, which is a sequence that was written by Shiva Ray, who's quite a famous yoga personality. So we'll start in Thunderbolt pose, which again, you'll have to decide if this works for you. This is the one where we're sitting on our knees. Some folks are able to do this. Others need to be up fully on their knees instead, because it's a little too much to be sitting back onto the heels. So you find what works for you, or just find a seated position, cross-legged or otherwise. If you're in this full position here, this is Thunderbolt. And we're simply going to start this practice that Shiva Ray is providing for us by bringing the hands to the heart, holding with your thumbs connected or touching gently at your sternum. Find a little bit of posture, a little bit of groundedness, and close your eyes and pose this question to yourself. What am I awakening to? Or simply, what am I awakening? And maybe an answer will pop into your consciousness, and maybe it won't. Maybe you'll just pose an open-ended question, and both are fine. We'll transition now into plank pose. That's why we opened up our wrists. We want to see if they can hold us here in plank. You can do this on a chair to have a little bit less pressure. Have your hands on a chair instead. You can also be down on your forearms. And you can be down on your knees. All right, so again, find the version that's gonna work for you. Now we're gonna do something very active here. We're doing some core work right away. So you wanna engage the core. We're going to be bringing one knee towards our nose, causing a little bit of rounding there in the spine. Then we'll be placing that foot back down and taking the other knee towards nose and foot back down. And we're gonna do this back and forth with our legs for about a minute. We're gonna do that all while saying, I am igniting. What am I igniting? You can take whatever pacing works for you. Big breathing to support this. This is getting us warmed up. Anyone who's chilly in their homes. Keep going. I'm warming up enough. I gotta get rid of the sweater. What am I igniting? And now, be in full plank for one moment and press that into downward dog. Fingers spread wide, pushing your hips back as far as they'll go, as well as hips being up high. And just play with it gently. Press one heel at a time towards the floor. Start to get the length through the back of each leg. I am opening. What is opening within me? What am I opening to? If you're willing, let's see if you can press both heels at the same time towards the ground. They don't have to touch. I'm just aiming that way. Fingers are spread. Hips are high, and you're still pressing those hips further back. As far back as you can get them. Now take the right leg high. A three-legged dog for a moment. Take a big breath there. And as you're ready, step that right leg forward. You're aiming to get it roughly in between your two hands, but you can get there any way that you like to. And then plant your back foot at 45 degrees. Make sure that your feet are ready to take some weight because we're going to go from here to standing. Keep the front knee bent. Keep that back foot at 45 degrees and see if you can adjust your hips so that they're aiming to point forward. Because we've got the back foot placed where we do, the hips won't be squarely forward. However, we're just adjusting our posture, our front torsos forward. What am I rising to is the question as you bring your hands up. I am rising. What am I rising to? Shoulders down, 3 breaths here. Then bring the arms back down and interlace them behind you. Again, pull the wrists apart from each other. Ensure that your front knee is bent. And we're just going to see how we do, bringing the head towards the knee. Now maybe it'll come all the way towards the leg. Maybe you'll be able to rest chest on thigh a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe you'll just be partway here. Maybe you need to use your hands in a different way. So find what will work for you. If you're doing the full version of this pose, you can start to open the arms up and away from the back. Again, to whatever amount of this is possible for you. I am releasing. What am I releasing? One more big breath there. And then bring yourself back to standing. Same position for your legs. So the front knee is bent. Back foot is still at that 45 degrees. Keeping the legs as they are. Turning yourself to point forward. We're going to lift the arms now up into the victory V. I am receiving. With a big open heart, what am I receiving? Lift your eyes a little more as you breathe. One more big breath. Then bring the hands together above you to the heart. And then hands back down beside the foot if you can. Step back, knees down. So we're going to a hands and knees position. We're going to keep the knees underneath the hips. So the hips are nice and high on this one. We're not settling the hips back into a pose of child just yet. We will get there. So with the hips over the knees, this high position with the hips above. Now walk your hands forward, as far forward as you can. Opening your heart towards the floor, and maybe your head, forehead rests right down on the floor. I am bowing to. What am I bowing to? Good, then bring yourself back to hands and knees. We have to do all of that on the other side. Take a few moments for a gentle cat-cow. Noticing how the spine is, this midway point through a series of poses. Little rounding, little arching. Good. And then getting ready for downward dog on the other side. Now, you have learned something about your body through this first side. So if you need to do something different on the other side, if you need to get a chair or if you need to modify, just consider how you might do that here on this other side based on what feedback your body's giving you. Let's go to plank and straight to downward dog. Fingers spread wide, hips coming high, and far back. And then again, play with the little bicycle with the legs, pressing one heel at a time towards floor. And many of you have learned the alternate for downward dog. I'll show it to you here just in case you need a refresher. From hands and knees, if down dog is not feeling right today, you can just stretch one leg out, pressing the heel way away from you. And then as you're ready, that knee comes back in, other leg extends, pressing the heel away. And now let's add the words. I am opening. What am I opening to? If you're in the full down dog, let's press both heels, aiming towards the floor. One more big breath. And this time we're lifting the left leg high. Find your three-legged dog here. And we're getting ready to step that leg, that foot, in between your two hands. Placing the back foot at 45 degrees on the mat or on the floor. Getting the feet ready to take weight so that we can stand. Again, adjusting the hips, doing your best to point hips and torso forward so that they're aiming the same direction as your bent front knee. Now, the words are, I am rising to. What am I rising to as I bring my hands up to come together overhead? Shoulders low, breathing. Bring the hands down and interlace the fingers behind you. Pull the wrists apart from each other. Keep the front knee bent and see how it is. Start to bring your head towards your knee. Just notice how this is compared to the other side. Maybe the head touches the inside of the knee. Maybe you can bring those arms up and away from the body, away from the back. I am releasing. What am I releasing to? Bring those arms down. Bring yourself back to standing tall. Again, keeping the front knee bent. Again, shifting yourself to face forward over that front knee. Bring the arms up into the V. I am receiving. What am I receiving? As you breathe. Shoulders low, neck easy. Bring the hands together, bring them to heart. And one more time, shifting ourselves to floor. Bring the hands down on the inside of the front foot. Come to hands and knees. Again, we're going to keep the hips high. So hips over the knees as we walk the fingers forward, allowing the heart to open up towards the floor, perhaps resting the forehead right onto the floor. I am bowing to. What am I bowing to? And then bring yourself back up and all the way into child's pose now. So settle your hips back onto your heels or whatever version of this works. Maybe you tuck a pillow or blanket in between your hips and your heels. And then your choice of resting your head on your hands or your hands by your feet. And we're going to hold here for 5 big breaths. I am grounding to. What am I grounding to? Round yourself back up and bring yourself onto your stomach for a cobra variation. So as long as your back is feeling okay for cobra, oops, there's no water. You're gonna press your pubic bone into the ground. You're going to pull your strong core muscles, those low abdominal muscles, up towards your spine so your core is engaged, activated there. Today we'll keep the hands just under the shoulders, the hands snugged up right close beside the chest. And start to use your core strength to lift your chin, to lift your chest, to whatever amount feels right for you. And then if it feels good today, you can come up a little higher using the hands. So pressing the hands into the mat, let them help you out to get just a little higher into your cobra. Elbows are staying nice and close towards you. And the words are, I am loving. What am I loving? One more breath. Very gently, use your strong arms to slowly bring you back. Touch your chin down, touch your forehead down. Rest your arms beside you. Rock your hips out to release any tension there. And rest your head on each cheek for a breath. And turn yourself over. Today we're going directly into our 10-minute Shavasana now, a little earlier in the class. But then once we come out of Shavasana, we'll do a few more of our lying poses, lying twists, and a few things for the hips. So just a slightly different sequence. Have some water. You worked hard with that. The poses of empowerment is the name that was given to that sequence developed by Shiva Ray. And we're going to bring some of that into our Shavasana now. So have some water, find any blankets that you need, and get comfortable lying on the floor. Of course, as always, you have the option to do your Shavasana in more of a seated meditation version. That's how I'm going to do it so that you can hear my voice better. Or you can do it with legs up the wall, is your third option. Whatever way you've chosen to be, this is your opportunity to really let go, to invite rest into the body. So whether you're lying or sitting or legs up the wall, now see if you can really let go of any parts of the body that are being supported by the ground. Spread out, release. Get a little heavier as you let gravity hold you up. I'm going to talk you through a guided relaxation. We're also going to bring in the ideas we've been working with for setting intention. And by way of introduction today, 11 a.m. Sorry for that. As you're getting settled in, there are so many parts of our current existence that we have no control over. We can't control the air quality due to forest fires We can't control the particular year it is that brings thousands of moths through the city. We can't control that we're in the middle of a global pandemic. There's many things going on right now outside our control. So our practice and what we've been working on with intention is a little bit to find what we can have influence over, and that's ourselves. We can imagine how we want to feel differently. We can have self-awareness to know how we are feeling from moment to moment or day to day. And we can set an intention to feel things a little differently, or to change our state, to change the levels of emotions that we experience day to day. So the intention that I have been working with personally, the idea is I'd like to bring more enjoyment to my life. More enjoyment of simply the day-to-day things that I experience, the things that I forget to appreciate because I take them for granted. I would like to bring more enjoyment of those things into my life. Now that's just my intention. You don't have to adopt that one, though you can if it resonates for you. And I know that for me that I need to do that using gratitude. The gratitude practice will be the means for me to bring more enjoyment to my day-to-day life this fall. What is it for you? What is your intention? Did any of the words that we used during poses today spark something within you? So once again, as we have been doing, I invite you to pose this question to yourself. What do I want more of in my life as a feeling? What do I want to feel more of, experience more of this fall? I'm going to be a little bit playful with that question during our guided relaxation. So I invite you to bring your awareness all the way down to your toes and playfully ask, what do my toes want more of? What do my toes want to feel more of this fall? How about feet? How are my feet just now, this moment? And how would my feet like to feel? Ankles. How are my ankles just now? And how would my ankles like to feel? Consider the lower legs, shins, the calves. How are the lower legs just now? And how would they like to feel? Knees. How are the knees just now at this moment? What intention would your knees set for themselves? Upper legs, the thighs, the hamstrings, the connection between the legs and the hips. How are they just now? How would your legs like to be? The big area of your hips, core, glutes, pelvis, big bones that help us create so many movements in our daily lives. How is the big area of the hips and pelvis today? And how would it like to feel in the coming weeks? Low back. How is the low back at this moment? And how would the low back like to feel? Open and spread your awareness to the rest of the back. So from the low back, bring into your awareness the middle back, the area between the shoulder blades, the upper back, so that you're aware now of the back as a whole. How does the back feel just at this moment? And if your back were to set an intention, what would it be? Expand your awareness further up now to the shoulders and the neck. How are the neck and shoulders today? And as you breathe into them, how would the neck and shoulders like to feel? Move your attention from your shoulders down your arms, all the way to your hands and fingers. How are the arms today? And how would they like to feel going forward? Bring awareness to your face, including your jaw, the area around the mouth, the area around the eyes. How is your face, the muscles of your face? today? And how would you like to feel through the face muscles? And broaden to include your whole head, the skull, the scalp, the hair, all parts of your head, both outer and inner workings of the mind. How is the head and mind just now? And what intention would you set for your head and mind? How would it like to feel after the next few weeks? And finally, bring awareness to your heart. Take a few breaths, knowing that the lungs are helping to expand the space around the heart, to open you up through your torso. How is your heart just now, today? And how would your heart like to feel? In the coming weeks? And whatever that is, whatever feeling your heart has expressed as a possible intention, now just sit with that for a few breaths. Imagine, how would it feel if we achieved that intention? In my case, if my heart experienced enjoyment of all the little things through my days. Whatever it is for you, take another few breaths and imagine that sense, that felt sense, seeping from your heart on out to all of you. And now, take 3 deeper breaths. Start to move around just a little bit through your fingers, through your toes. Any other parts of you that need to stretch out. If you're lying down, stay lying down. Those of us who are not lying are going to join you. But bring your knees up with your feet on the floor, hip width apart. And today, let's bring our arms up into cactus position. So the elbows are out at shoulder height. Hands are at right angles, resting on the ground or hovering there. And let's cross the ankle of one leg onto the thigh of the other. You've got one foot left on the ground. You're going to lift it off, bringing your knees and hips towards you for 3 big breaths. If you can, stay mindful here. Just notice what the body is feeling moment by moment. Let's change sides. Cross the other ankle, onto thigh. Lift the foot off the ground. And breathe. Noticing just the body at this time. Stretch your arms fully out from shoulders on out, long across the floor. Bring both your knees in towards your chest, and then flop your knees with a thud. The same direction, both knees land on the floor beside you. The feet can rest right down on the ground. The neck has a choice. It can look straight ahead if that's more comfortable, or eyes and head can look the opposite way of your knees for 3 breaths. Letting go here. Bring the knees back to center, leave the arms where they are. Flop your knees the other way. Feet resting right down onto the ground. Eyes and head can look the opposite direction, or find a better placement for your neck. And 3 letting go breaths. Bring your knees back to center and stretch your body out as long as you can. Your feet are stretching way away from you. Your hands are stretching the opposite way. You are your longest version of yourself. Fingers and toes reaching in opposite directions. Excellent. Let's transition to sitting. If you want to challenge yourself with your core, you can bring your hands above you, reaching for sky. You can let your legs be heavy, pulling the legs together on the ground, and lift your chin towards your chest and start to sit. Using the strength of your core, or get up to sitting any other way, including rolling onto your side and pushing yourself up to sitting. Find your way to sitting in whatever comfortable position works for you. Find those sit bones grounding you again. Check in with your posture. Check in with your neck. Take your thumb into your hand and inhale and raise. Low shoulders. 2 easy breaths per position, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Hands together, 2 breaths. Hands come up and then behind the neck or in front of the neck, your choice. Full extension, breathing in. Slow hands to heart, breathing out. Find your heart close to your hands. And one more breath here at the heart. Namaste.